This daf here, Yerushalmi Shabbos in the article Ozu Hara edition around daf Samaches Aleph, the second line, Hotzi Shtar Chov, which in the Vilna is on daf Nun Hey Amud Beis, above the Mishnah, right before the end of Halacha Beis. It's 5 lines before the Mishnah. Similar to the Gemara yesterday, we talked about Kesher Moiches. Oti Shtar Chov, you took out an IOU. Actually, Chayev. Before you showed it to the person who owes you money, you're Chayev. It's obviously a tool to collect the debt. Once you showed it to Baal Chov, and your potter, because it's no longer serviceable, because since he paid it back. So therefore, it's already no longer usable as is. It can be for some other purpose, perhaps, but not for the purpose of Shtar Chov. So it's no longer chayav on that account. Even once you show the Baal Chov, you're still chayav. Because you can say it to show to another Baal Chov. Now, who are we talking about? Who's going to show the Baal Chov? So once a guy pays back a loan, so he gets the Shtar Chov. So but initially, where it says that when either Mer Ab Mishal Baal Chov Chayiv, when it says Mishal Baal Chov Potter, means when the loiva gets it back, he doesn't need it anymore for any purpose. He paid it back. The Malva doesn't need it. He already got paid back. So therefore, the shear is not going to be the same shear. It could be the shear perhaps of written paper, raised paper, or something else, but not the shear as a Baal Shtar Chov. But the Gemara says no. The Lovic can still use it to show he's a person who deserves credit, because he can show it to the other lenders, potential lenders, to that they should send the money, because obviously he's a good credit risk. So that's he says. Even once you sold it to once it's been shown to the Baal Chov, to the lender, to the borrower who got it back, Chayev, the borrower is Chayev for taking out show those Baal Chov Acher, because he can show it to another potential lender who's going to lend him money on that account. Okay, it says the Gemara. Niyar machuk. Say if you take a raised paper, it's enough to that's been enough to cover some fragrance. So im yesh b'cholak, if there's still enough blank space to write 2 letters on it, chayev, you're chayev for those 2 letters, for the place of those 2 letters, which of course is the shear of writing on Shabbos. Okay, says the Mishnah Halacha Gimel, or a hide, animal so it's kamiyah in order to make an amulet. So this says the this is hide which is salted and not floured and not worked with walnut oil. So then you use it in order to make an amulet, to wrap the parchment in. And the duchtus sustus, which is already it's the whole process. We just split the hide in half, and the part which is opposite where the hair used to be is called duchsustus, and you can write a mezuzah on it. And the other part, which is opposite, would have been the second half, which would have been opposite the flesh, is called klaf, and you write other svarim on it. So duchsustus is mezuzah. They used to write their mezuzah and duchsustus. I guess it was more durable. Klaf, which is, I guess, not as durable, because it was the part of the hide which is towards the flesh. In order to write a small portion of tefillin, Shishma Yisrael. Dio, ink, osios, in order to write 2 letters. It says all over the Mishnah, but it's laptafka. Both Kamei and Moshe take that out. To kachol ointment today ein achas to apply ointment to one eye. Seven's govis today la sos nekev. The Moshe says that B'Gemara Kamar b'manzik shanu klomar shemiderach shesos v'zochavis. You use this pitch or sulfur to close a jug. V'zof inoso bezeves. V'gofrish leitze yain derech stokim. In order, then you seal it with this pitch or the sulfur. But it's a neck of katan bahem, and you make a little puncture inside that 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 sealant. She is zonek hayayin derech hanekev, so the wine should spurt out through that hole. She writes him when he wants. Yeshbo, if you have enough of this pitch or sulfur, there, so it's neck of katan gazeh to make the small to make this small hole inside that zefes v'gafres. Zeu shotzos, and that's the shir votzah. There's a shavuk that you take out neck of katan and wax in order to put on that hole in order to seal it temporarily until you need to open it up. Okay, so the Gemara says, "Is tani kidei litain ala kamiyah." So some say it's to put it on an amulet, the amount of hide. Man like this was kamiyah. Man who says that it's to make a kamiyah. So it's kidei behein lakicha. It is when it's soft, and then you can make the entire amulet out of it. Then writing and folding, I guess, have it. Man like this, man like they liter come here to put it on an amulet. Behind the kasha, it's hard, and evidently it's just you don't write on it, so you just use it as a cover for whatever amulet you wrote on something else. A klaf de ichtov lo pashkan shebetfilin shishma Yisrael hadar that omar b'kolei pnei ha'or. That's when you take off the bottom half of the hide and make klaf out of it. Baram bahin duchsustus, but we're talking about the duchsustus, which is the outer part of the hide towards the hair. There's those shtei parshos mezuzah. It's to write the two parshos in the mezuzah, I guess. That's the two parshas mezuzah are not considered to be suitable one independent units as opposed to the parshas film. So in each parsha is separate in the at least in Tefillin Shorosh. So therefore, each parsha can be a separate chiyuv. But Nishma one chiyuv, Vayimshma another chiyuv, and Kaddish Vayaviyach. But in mezuzah, they're not considered to be two separate units, and therefore, if you're taking dusustus, you have to have enough dusustus in order to write the two parts of the mezuzah, the two parshas of mezuzah. Dio, ink, hotzido, dio, im bekumus tov shtei osios. If it's in the pen, because you dip the pen and now you're carrying out the ink, then enough to write two letters. In bichli, if it's taking out in a vessel, tzorach yoser, you need more. And the Pnei Moshe explains, if shashli dabek mina dio b'tzorach kli, because some it will adhere to the size of the vessel. So it's there's less there, which is available for writing to write the two letters. So the how much is should be water, and it's in water in order to be kidei hazoya. This is about for in paraduma water, and because when you carry paraduma water, which is amount enough to sprinkle, it's the time of the person who carries it. And it says there enough to dip the heads of the stalks, which are going to sprinkle the water. And the kli has to be more than the shear of hazoya, in order that it should contain enough water that can adhere to the stalks, in order that you should be able to sprinkle it, which is a similar concept to here. Rabbi Yirmiyah boy, then that's what Rabbi Yirmiyah says. Here, boy is b'nichusa. It's a statement, not a question. Lo mistabra imikli tzarchis. It makes sense. It only makes sense, or only mistabra to say this. If it's in that infinite, to say that if it's a kli, you need more, like we said over here. Okay, so it goes on. So, it's quote from the Mishnah. So I made a mistake in the Mishnah. I said it's ointment. It's not. It's mascara. So woman puts a mascara in one of her eyes and goes out to the marketplace. She puts on half of makeup. Amr said nobody does that. I feel even the most the greatest of the prostitutes who does not do that, does not go out that way. It's I guess a woman who's so a woman is most unconcerned with how she looks. Nobody doesn't go out with one eye made up and the other not made up. But so a woman who has some sort of malady in one of her eyes, and she can't put mascara in it. So that's why she puts the mascara in the other one. But it's a shuk, and then she goes to the marketplace. So I guess everybody can see that her other eye is not feeling well. So she's only putting mascara in one eye. Everybody said, who talked about it? Who said it about a case where the woman is not feeling well in one of her eyes? Now, a woman will put mascara in one eye and hides the other eye. She puts it under a veil, and she goes out to the marketplace. And there is a pasuk in Shir Hashem, you gladden my heart with one of your eyes. So evidently, so women who were tsanua, they put a veil over one eye and only left the other eye uncovered, and they only have to put mascara in the one eye which they left uncovered. The woman who is blind in one of her eyes, and she puts mascara in the other one and goes out to the marketplace. Zevetz gegofris kedei asos nekev. You have sulfur, pitch and sulfur to make a hole. Rabbi Yisrael Amar b'maznik shanu, when you're making this kind of like a spigot type thing in order for a little bit to spurt out when you remove that wax that you're going to put in it. And the Shabbos they did on pinek of cotton, Tamchir kedei they a pisedek cotton to put on a small crack. So not specifically a hole, but a crack which is even smaller than a hole. Okay, says the next Mishnah. Devik glue. This is put at the tip of a shabsheves. I guess it's something which takes captive. It's a stick with which hunters go and they catch birds. I guess the bird alights on the stick and gets glued there. Chalosis. This is pounded brick. Kedeasos pikur showed surface with which they make the opening of a crucible of gold smiths. Rabbi Yehuda make kedeasos pitput in order to make a one of the three stands of a tripod which holds a pot over a fire. Subin kidei litain al pikur showed surface of. This is the bran which they this is a they put this bran in a says place where there isn't coal. They use this bran in order to make very hot fire. I guess they put it at the opening of their at the somehow the opening of that smelt or whatever they're doing in order to make this fire. The article says very Yisrael, I guess, in order to explain why it's at the mouth of the opening, that it was used as a kind of insulation. Seed plaster, there's katana shibonos to use to plaster. It's used as the pilotor to move the hair of the smallest of the girls. I mean, to make this so kilkul. It's in order to do the to the work it's like a cowlick, only it's on the side of a girl's head. So the Rabbi Nechemia Mekdesos Andipi, in order to do the according to Carmel, it's the forehead. I'm not sure why needed the pilatory on the forehead, but that's also according to Moshe also says to remove the fine hairs on the forehead, I guess slightly underneath your hairline, something to that effect. Somewhere down up over here. The interpretation is in order to arts brings down in order to give it some color. Okay, mal charosis chavra, white ground up dust. Shmamar upper kedei chasos bo dam tibaktana. They are dirt. It's enough to kisei dam, a small bird. Taishmu upper ve'efer, both dirt and ashes. Kedei chasos bo dam tibaktana. They're both the shears to cover the blood of a small bird with a kisei dam. Tani cheres koshu. If you have a pottery, even a small size, and gemi koshu, and hemp, even a small size, the Mutza taltam d'ogabai. It's not going to be muktzeh because they're not like eitzim abonim. They have uses, so you can carry them inside your house. Um, the Pnei Moshe says because you can use them to cover saliva and other things, even a small shear. Rabbi Yizir B'Shem Shmuel said uvad min hamuchan, as long as you designate it for that purpose from before Shabbos. Tani Kane. We learned in also a similar thing. The cover of a jug and its broken pieces. You're allowed to carry them inside the house. But once you toss them into the garbage, so then they're no longer to be designated. You can't touch them anymore because you'd have to redesignate them. Amar Rebbe said concerning our Mishnah, near and Rabbi Yehuda ba'asi kebetza. He says that the plaster, when it's made like an egg, so then it's made for the sideburns. And and when Rabbi Yechem is a case where it is dissolved in water, so I guess it's somehow that is more suitable to the andipi, perhaps it's a smaller area. It's a finer area on the forehead, so it's smaller. And I don't know. For some reason it's diluted. It's better for that purpose. So let's go down to the girsa in the Bavli is the opposite in terms of kibetza and chavut, and some people change girsa in Yerushalmi, so it's the same as the in the Bavli. I should put out that he doesn't really explain what the difference in why they be different forms. Not sure. Okay, maybe if it's to give color to the forehead, that makes sense. So there should be kibetza. Somehow, if you scrub it in order as a depilatory, and mechavit means to smear it around in order to give it coloring. Maybe that's the shot. Okay. It says the next Mishnah. Aloha hey, Adama. This is red mud. Kachesam martufin. This is a to make the seal, which with which they would seal the large sacks in which they would put cargo in boats. Enough to size to make a seal on a letter. Zeva b'chol dak, fertilizer and thin sand, which I guess is another form of fertilizer. In order to fertilize the stalk of cabbage. In order to fertilize a cress, which is evidently smallish here. Chogas, coarse sand. To put on the tool of a plasterer, the trowel of a plaster. Kane, a reed, there's kumas in order to make a pen. Av, it was thick, musas, it was already chopped up, so it can't be used for pen. They basha beitzakal to be used as fuel for a small egg. Beitzakal shebeitzim, the lightest egg, which is the chicken's egg, which is the easiest to cook. Trufa, the when it is mixed with oil and put into a pan, which cooks even faster. Rabbi Yochanan said, "V'hu shemagia ad kishrei etzba oisav." So he's saying that the reed has to be enough that it reaches his knuckle. Which knuckle? And he said by nicha ad hacha. So he said, okay, I understand the upper knuckle. That's dim ad hacha. But if it's long enough to reach the lower knuckle, right? How big does the reed have to be to make the kumus? Timothy, we learned over there the Maseches Kelim, Michtav, a stylus, Shenita Kaisev, which you use in order to indent on wax, make indentations on the wax tablets. One side is sharp in order to make the indentations, the other side is smooth in order to rub them out. So, Nita Kaisev, if the sharp side is removed, You can't write with it. It's still time in there. Moichek is still erased to the other side. Nita moichek, the side which is dull, is removed. It's still time in there because it's used for the with the with the writing side. Okay, so Rabbi Zir boy nicha ad hacha. So Rabbi Zir asked the question: how much of the racing, similar to our question, how much? Let's say the racing side is moved, although it'll be both sides. How much of it has to remain? Let's use it for the writing side right now because it's easier to understand. So it have to remain enough of that stylus to here, so you can write with it, or even up to here. That's all it's going to be enough to write with it. Again, which one? Okay, the Gemara doesn't resolve that. Anytime it says kebetzim meseches kalim, like Carmen brings out an example. Time it says parakim says kalim ezu gemar malacha. What's gemar malacha of the oven? Which the kalim once you stoke it enough. The bashal beitza kala had a beitza mamish. Shishlema. That means an actual egg when it is a and a whole egg. But Shabbos grogeres kebetzim Shabbos. It's not a whole egg. It's a grogeres of an egg dish. Right, as he said, it's already once it's in, it's scrambled. So therefore, even it's not necessarily a whole. It's not a whole egg. It's not necessarily the size of an egg. It's the size of a grogeres of an egg. Okay, so the article makes there grogeres is either a third of an egg or half of an egg. And here, once we have the article open, here's a picture of a stylus. Not that necessarily is necessary, but here, the thick part and the pokey part. Okay, that brings us to the end of the Amud, so we'll stop here for today.